the end of games that say how far players have run and different things. He never appears at the top. He is a wonderful player, Shaqiri. He never appears at the run the furthest. So how are you going to fit in at Liverpool under a coach, Jurgen Klopp, who demands his midfielders chase and run?
That's a very good point. If they're going to be battling on all fronts, he's going to be a squad player. And what, 10, 12 million in these days, day and age? He goes to the squad. I mean,
he's a luxury player, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's got obviously qualities, but he's a massive luxury player. I don't think he'll be anywhere near the first team. If he does sign, he'll go in the rotation. So I'm going to say, as far as the League Cup team, that's a hit. But that's as far as he sees it. But I just can't see it.
I'd put the extra 12 million to a goalkeeper and just make sure they don't concede the goals that they've been conceding. Now, this kid's a player, Milinkovic-Savic.
Yes.
Lazio to Real Madrid. It's been talked about. Do you think it could happen?
Look, I think it'd be a fantastic sign of any side. I mean, he is, as you say, Mark, he's an unbelievable talent, this lad. It's going to be fascinating to see him play for Serbia in the World Cup. But again, to your point, he needs to play football. He needs to be in a regular side. Can he do that at Real Madrid? I personally think he's that talented that he can. So he's going to go to Real Madrid. I'm going to say no.
There's a pause there.
I'm going to say no because I don't think he's not going. I don't think.
Not yet. Whoever comes in at Chelsea, assuming Conte goes, their task's going to be to win the league. You don't win a league by selling some of your best players.
Well, that's where you start your midfield. Where you, if you're going to rebuild your midfield, that is where you start. It'd be absolutely madness, and the Chelsea fans would go crazy if they even. I mean, they'll be up in arms about this headline to PSG. You know, you can see it. Of course, you can see it. I mean, everybody has a price.
Yeah.
But Chelsea are absolutely crazy to sell him.
Spurs are getting their best players lined up, signed up, long term.
Yeah.
Dele Alli next. What do you reckon?
I think it'd be very wise business for Tottenham. I mean, we saw the contract that Harry Kane's just signed, and quite rightly so. I mean, he's a fantastic player. And Dele Alli is a little bit behind him in development. I think he still has a little bit to learn, but there's no doubt he's a creator. He scores goals. He scores great goals. He scores tap-ins. So to stay at Spurs, stay at Spurs.
Now, I'm led to believe last week.
Stay at Spurs, right?
Thank you. The age. I'm led to believe last week Wiltshire was going to West Ham, so he's clearly turned them down because Juve have been on the phone.
Well, the worrying thing about this is that Jack's stalling now. So obviously, his contract ends in like 3 weeks' time, a couple of weeks' time, and for Arsenal not to have got him locked in, signed up, sorted out, that's a big issue. So it seems as though his agent's, calling around. I've said, and some people have criticised me for saying it, that I think Jack needs a new challenge. Yes, there's a new manager in, I understand that, but I just think that Jack just needs to get away from that environment.
He went away to Bournemouth and he did okay.
But okay is not good enough, though.
Yeah, and
he's supposed to be everybody's in England saying he's a world beater.
Right, okay, so if you see him and see how he's done it at Bournemouth and he didn't set the heather on fire, would you be willing to take the chance?
But coaches do that, though. I can get something out of this kid. I can get into his head.
Could a good coach get something more out of Jack Wilshere?
Do you know what? I honestly don't know. I couldn't answer that question.
And that's why we still don't know where he's going to be
We
playing.
still don't know. So Wilshere to Juventus with Emre Can. Maybe the pace of the game in Italy may suit him.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know, but
he's not going to be a first-team player.
I'm going to say that to Juve. I'm going to say this. I don't know. I can't see it.
By the way, watch for Unai Emery building his midfield around Aaron Ramsey next.
Well, so he should do.
Exactly. So what we got today?
He's the best player.
2 hits and 3 misses eventually for Paul Mack.
We got there in the end.
Do you know what? Since we found out we were doing this segment with that badge behind us, you can't keep the smile off his face. I'm surprised he's not standing up.
It's the greatest badge in the world.
Like last night at the proms and giving us God Save the Queen.
Well, I just said I should be stood up.
Look, you can talk about England at the World Cup. I can't talk about Scotland at the World Cup. So, 1-0 you. The reason we're going to be talking about England, Tony Adams come out with some interesting comments. The former England captain, he's noising everyone up. He says the Spurs players in the squad, England aren't going to win the World Cup because they lack a winning mentality.
Well done, Tony.
Get stuck into this.
What a great quote that is from a true Arsenal great.
He's at the wind-up. Come on.
Of course he's having a wind-up. It's, no, I mean, come on. I mean, any sane person would say that England, it is a bit of a stretch of England win the World Cup, but they're going to go there, you know, low expectations. But look, one of the number one strikers in the world is playing up front for England. You wouldn't say he's a quitter, would you? I mean, he's been banging goals in for fun. Dele Alli, if he's going to play underneath, maybe with Sterling, depending on what the system's going to be. He's got some fight in him, he's got some flair in him, he's got goals, he's got creation in him. So, you know, the other players, the wing backs, where they get in, but Dyer will probably be in there in the holding role. So I think it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek by Tony.
One of the comments he did make in the interview, I kind of...
Why are we smiling when we're talking about Tony Adams?
I don't know why. I don't know Tony.
I know him really well.
He's a leader of men, I'll give him that.
He's fantastic. He was an apprentice when I was at Arsenal. Fantastic.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I mean, he had a great career, so he's entitled to his opinion. We just don't agree with it. One of the other things that he said, I do agree with, is the inexperience that England have got might be a bit of a hindrance. They're the third youngest squad.
Yep.
But playing devil's advocate, they don't have scars from previous World Cups.
Yeah,
so is there a bit of both?
I think there is a bit of both, yeah. I think that, you know, the further you get in the tournament, the pressure comes on. Look, we've not even got the first game out of the way. The first game is so important. It's so important that you get 3 points in that.
And it's not an easy game, Tunisia.
It's not.
They're the best, highest-ranked African side.
It's not an easy game. But if you get that 3 points under your belt, Mark, you're more or less guaranteed of getting in there.
Especially with Panama in the group as well.
Exactly. So you're expected to beat Panama. Then you've got Belgium as the last game. So I tend to agree with what you've just said. Look, it can work for you, it can work against you, this inexperience. As you say, you go in with no fear, or you go in and you go, you know, I've never seen anything like this at this level before, and you need some experience to steady the ship a little bit.
Just finally, you mentioned right at the start about the expectation is a lot lower than it used to be. How does the expectation going into this World Cup compare with the expectation you guys had going into the World Cup you played in '82?
Well, we sort of scraped in to qualify. It came down to the last game.
But you still got there.
But the build up to the games, we were scoring goals for fun. We weren't conceding goals. If you look at the team, it's a very, very strong team, and we're undefeated. I mean, they changed the rules because they went into that second phase at the Bernabeu with Germany and Spain. So they changed the rules. They brought that rule up.
But would you rather go into a World Cup with a lesser expectation on a group of
personally?
Yes.
No.
Really?
No, because then you put your imprint on the game. You show everybody, yes, you do deserve to be here, and yes, you are going to go as far as possible in this tournament.
3 lines on your shirt, huh?
There you go. I've got 3 lines.
We'll get God Save the Queen. Does he know the second verse, though? Not many people do. New York City FC have got themselves a new coach. We'll get to him in a second. But first of all, Paul Mariner, Patrick Vieira's off to France. What do you make of his move to Nice?
I think it's fantastic for him. I think it's the right move. I think there's no doubt it's going to be a stepping stone for him. I think he's going to be a terrific manager. You know, we can have a look here what he's done at NYCFC. Everything that I've heard while I've been involved in Major League Soccer about Patrick is all very positive things.
As you can see, his numbers are good. His playoff record isn't. What's his legacy?
I think when he took over from Jason Christ, I think he didn't have a lot to work with. I think the players that he brought in and the system that he played with David Villa, obviously a big help through the middle. He played very entertaining football. He liked to build from the back. He likes to play the right way. And I think with what he had at New York, I think he did a fantastic job, Matt.
Do we know yet in his 2.5 years if he's a good coach?
I think he's a good coach. I think what he is, he's good on all aspects of coaching. He's good with the players, he's good with the media, and he's good on the training ground. I mean, I was an advocate, to be perfectly frank, of him getting the Arsenal job. I think this is a perfect stepping stone now. I think that he'll do a great job in France, and I think that he'll be in the Premier League soon.
Has Nice appointed him because of what he did at NYCFC or because of who he is?
I think there's a bit of both. I think obviously they'll do their research and they'll know what type of a character they're getting in Patrick as a boss, as a leader. I mean, there's no doubt about his qualities on the playing field at the Arsenal when he was absolutely remarkable. But he's gone into management. He just seems to have a wonderful balance of how to motivate his players, how to be somewhat of a nice guy to the powers that be in MLS and to the press. he doesn't carry any secrets. He would give the team out on Fridays to the press. He wasn't worried about that at all. So he's a wonderful. He's just a wonderful person to be around as far as the media is concerned.
He's certainly a player's coach. There was a really nice tweet that Villa has put out today saying how much he'll miss him and thanking him as well. So he's a player's coach, which is a good thing. Now, the guy we mentioned right at the start who's coming in is Dominic Torrent. Now, not many people have heard of him because he's been a coach most of his life. He had one spell in the third tier in Spain with Girona. But he is part of the City structure.
Exactly.
He is Guardiola's guy. He plays the same style as the whole kind of City network of structure. Where I think this works, there is no 6-week wait to try and identify and then interview the next coach. He's straight in.
Yeah, and look, I think you've said it there. He's been with Guardiola for quite some time, so he obviously knows how to put a team together, what to say, and so on and so forth, and how to coach them. He'll find it a little bit different. Playing on the Yankees field, it is a little bit different way of playing. You'll find it's totally different in MLS. There's, variations in abilities. You talk about Atlanta. I think the Eastern Conference is the best conference. He'll find out about the travel. All these things he'll find out very, very quickly. With the heat. And in the winter, obviously, very, very cold. So very, very quick learning curve for him. But I think he's a very, very interesting hire.
So he's a coach becoming a manager. Final question. You were Stevie Nicholls' assistant at the Revs.
Yep.
You then became a manager. What's the biggest difference?
Well, it's all on you. It's you make the final decision. You listen to your assistant. You take everything on board what people are telling you, but it's you that you're going to get fired. So sooner or later. So you've just got to be yourself, do it your way, and if you do that, then you've got no qualms.
So it's a new era for NYC FC. We wish both Patrick well with Nice in France, and we wish Dominic well at NYC as well.
Took the lead, but from then on, Belgium dominated, and for many, they feel that maybe, just maybe, Robbo, this could be the time that the golden generation can really shine.
Today they played some fantastic football, as you'd expect them to do with the players they've got. Dries Mertens down one side, Hazard, every time he got on the ball he was running past people, Lukaku with his power and pace, but it's still held together by Kevin De Bruyne. He was magnificent. Some of his little 1-2s, he's passing round the corner, he's passing over the top. He's the player that really makes them tick.
You take a look at the starting 11 that they put out, Shaq, and it is one of those cases in which it's obvious that they should be in contention when it comes to the business end of this World Cup. But there is still a little bit of doubt around them. Why?
There's still a lot of doubt around them, certainly in my mind, and it's all down to Lukaku up front. As impressive as he's been for club, I don't think he's been able to replicate that form for country. It's a different...
Good today, though, didn't he? 2 goals?
He did, but it's a different game. I get the poor Costa Rica team, maybe you have to say, given what we've seen from them over the last couple of weeks. But at the World Cup, it's a different game. It's slower. You have to be cleaner with your finishing. And I'm not sure that Lukaku is that guy. We are talking about the same Romelu Lukaku who lost his starting spot to Origi 4 years ago. That he's improved, I just don't think enough to suggest that Belgium are going to go on and win this or get to a final.
I wouldn't say that's their weakness. Their weakness could be the wing-backs. Carrasco, who's really a left winger playing at left wing-back, he looks like he's going to start. Meunier down the other side, he's a decent player, but he's not a top-class player. And Alderweireld, I think is a wonderful player, but over the last year, he hasn't played that much football. He hasn't been in Tottenham's side. I think he's lost that little bit of confidence. And Boyata as the middle centre-half in the back three, they would be the weaknesses for me.
Let's bring Gab into the conversation, shall we? Gab, is this kind of last chance saloon for this generation?
I think as far as the World Cup is concerned, perhaps. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to be around for the Euros. I think it's perhaps last chance saloon for playing a certain type of Belgian football that we saw under Wilmots, and hopefully it's going to be version 2.0, the improved version under Roberto Martinez. But, I was listening to what you guys were saying about Lukaku, and I think the challenge is going to be, and we'll find out while he's done it, Lukaku gets a very different type of service at Manchester United than he does with Belgium. So I think that could be something problematic. But remember, they always have the plan B. Dries Mertens played at centre forward all season long for Napoli. Might that be something that Roberto turns to if Lukaku isn't firing?
What's success, Robbo, for Belgium, this tournament? How far do they go And you think, yeah, they fulfilled their potential?
I think they have to get to the semi-finals. With the
Really?
squad that you've just seen, with the amount of players that they've got that I would think are verging on world-class players, and we're talking about Hazard, we're talking about De Bruyne, and I still don't think Lukaku's a problem for them. They've got Batshuayi to come on if need be. I think they have to get to the semi-finals to be successful. And I think it's a big job for Roberto Martinez. He's got some big players to cope with.
Is he up for that job?
I think he's a good coach. Does he understand the defensive side of the game? That's why I highlighted the problem in the wing-back area. Everton, they played good football at Everton. They scored goals at Everton, but defensively, they weren't good enough. At Wigan, his team wasn't good enough defensively. Yes, they played great counter-attacking football. They played some good passing football, but he's always had a problem with the defensive side of the game, and that could be their problem in this tournament.
What would define a successful campaign, Shaq?
I agree with Stu here. It's got to be a semi-final. I think a lot comes down to who finishes 1 and 2 in their group, of course, group with England. You then pay up against Colombia or Senegal out of Group G, and that determines exactly who you come up against in the quarters and then the semis. But yes, given the talent in this squad, if you don't make these semi-finals, it's seen as a poor tournament for them.
Let's just remind you of Belgium's group. Of course, they're drawn with England, who are the other favourites to advance, along with Tunisia and Panama. Gad, the bookies have got Belgium as the strong favourites to get out of this group first. Is that fair? Are they a much better side overall than England?
I think they're a more talented side, no question about it. I'm not surprised the bookies feel that way. A lot of it also, has to do with sort of the development of the group, the order in which you play. The thinking is Belgium have a much softer start against Panama, and then they can build momentum from there. And possibly also the fact that, in the third game, if Belgium need to win against England to finish ahead of them, that they can do that. Right now, there's no doubting Belgium's talent, whereas England probably behind, certainly in terms of the arc of progress that they're trying to get to.
Yesterday, Griezmann said that he's going to get everything done before the start of the World Cup. It seems that Allison seems to be saying the same sort of sentiments regarding his future, of course, being heavily linked to Liverpool.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think there's also contract negotiation going on. From what I've been told, this is unlikely to get done before the World Cup, if at all. There's still a lot of distance, obviously, between these two sides. Obviously, the relationship between the two ownership groups, Roma and Liverpool, very, very close, both Boston-based. But that said, you could argue they already helped them out last year with Mohamed Salah. They don't want to let another world beater get away this soon. And I think from Roma's perspective, it makes sense to see what happens after the World Cup and what kind of tournament Allison has.
This is it, Shaq, isn't it? Because it's a lot of money. We're in things like $80 million, almost excess of that. Is he worth it?
I think he's worth it to Liverpool, without question. I think if Liverpool are to continue to contend at the higher ends of European football, if they are to threaten the likes of Manchester City and Manchester United, one of the holes that they've got to plug is in between the sticks. Allison goes a long way to that. You spend 75 million on a centre-back. I still think, as a defensive unit, it's incomplete. You need a goalkeeper who can hold up their end as well.
This is the problem, though, isn't it, Robbo? Because you're putting all your eggs pretty much in a goalkeeping basket. Because if you put 80 million there, you haven't got much of a budget left to reinforce that defence or give you some backup front as well.
They were better defensively towards the end of the season. Van Dijk certainly made a difference. I wouldn't say he read the game as well as people say he did. But Liverpool were better all-round defensively. In midfield, it wasn't just about the back four. It was about how they defended it elsewhere on the field. But they still need that goalkeeper. And I don't think it matters how much they spend on the goalkeeper. They need a new goalkeeper because Karius won't come back from that disaster against Real Madrid.
There's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, about what the fan experience is going to be like in the World Cup this year. Well, Alison Bender and Mark Ogden will be in Russia throughout the tournament. They landed in Moscow today and gave us their first impressions.
Yes, hello, welcome to Moscow. Here we are right outside Red Square, but it is actually closed at the moment. It's a public holiday tomorrow, and there's a big classical music gala going on there as well. But even though the tournament doesn't kick off until Thursday, the atmosphere is incredible. There's fans already. Haven't seen any England fans yet, but I guess England don't play for a while.
No, I mean, I travelled out today, and it was interesting that my flight was full of Peruvians, Mexicans, Colombians, Uruguayans, not many England fans, but the problem with that is they don't play till Monday, so Volgograd's quite a long way away as well. So, you know, there's a reason why there's not many England fans here. Also, the concerns of what happened in Marseille 2 years ago. So,
you were there. I mean, should England fans be worried? Obviously, there were violent clashes between the two sets of fans, the ultras, it probably has to be said. And there's heavy policing here, we can see.
I mean, I was in Marseille, and it was quite a scary exercise, to be honest, to be there. But, you know, I was at the Confederations Cup last year, and the security was intense.
Cue the police sirens, by the way.
Yeah, it was a much more different atmosphere, and I think that the England fans aren't travelling great numbers. They're at 32,000, which is way down on the number. Australia, the USA have got more fans here.
USA are second to Russia.
88,000 tickets sold to the States. So I think the England fans are genuinely concerned, and I think also there's an element of, you know, fatigue with the football as well. I think they're not that optimistic about the way it's going to go. So with that and the fans, it's a scary concept for England fans.
Okay, and it certainly was an easy journey, wasn't it? Just 3 hours 40 from London Heathrow. So the England fans coming into Moscow should find the trip a lot easier. That's been put out in the press. We will be here every day until the tournament ends on the 15th. So make sure you keep it right with us here.
Patrick Vieira, of course, was linked heavily to a move to the Gunners. Yeah, it seems now he's going to Nice. It's been official, hasn't it, Gab? He's moving from NYCFC to Ligue 1. And it's interesting to see how his progression now will go, because expectations have changed, certainly at Nice, haven't they, where they're much higher these days?
They're higher to a point. Obviously, the ownership group is there, but you know, they're still, I don't think, in a position to necessarily make that big leap up. Obviously, they had that tremendous season a couple years ago. The interesting thing with Vieira is my understanding is, he was certainly led to believe, go to NYCFC, do your thing. Pep's going to come. He's going to sign a 3-year contract. We don't know, you know, he's going to last 3 years, and then he'll be gone, and then your time, you know, will be here at City. Now, obviously, with Pep deciding he's going to stick around longer, I think Vieira felt, all right, I've been here, I've done my time, I need a new experience. Obviously, the City job won't be available. How can I best prepare myself for it? And so he opts to go back to France, back to Nice, and try to bring his football there, and then really face a totally different set of challenges, get a different skill set than what you have in MLS, where obviously there's salary caps and there's rules and there's restrictions. Here, he can perhaps build his team in a slightly more traditional from a European standpoint way.
Be hard pushed to find anyone in MLS who's played with him who have anything but good things to say about Vieira, but it's a big step now, isn't it, for him?
It is, but it's a step that he prepared himself for, not by just what he did with NYCFC, but in time he spent in the off seasons. He spoke about spending time with Pep Guardiola, about going and meeting with Sarri at Napoli, stuff like that, to kind of get a better understanding of football at the highest level. Now, if this was a player making that same move, it's a no-brainer. So for Patrick Vieira, similarly as a coach, I think it ticks all the right boxes. It makes a whole lot of sense. If a big European club like a Manchester City comes a-calling after Pep Guardiola decides his time is up, I'm sure that won't be much of a decision for him to make either.
Future Premier League manager?
I think he will be. I've been impressed with some of the things he's done when he was Manchester City's youth coach. I saw the way they played. He's also done very well for New York City FC, up to a certain point. I think he's a good coach before the game. I haven't seen him make the right changes when things are going against him. When they played the Red Bulls of New York City FC, they were 2-3-0 down after 20 minutes. It was like watching Arsene Wenger's team. The Red Bulls wanted to go and press the ball. New York City wanted to play out from the back, and suddenly they were 3-0 down, and he didn't recognise what was happening and changed the game.
How did you turn that into a dig at Arsene
You knew I would get that in at some point.
22 minutes. 22
you
minutes.
knew I'd get it in. So he didn't look as though he could change the game.
Let's end the show with your ultimate 11, Robert. When it comes to the World Cup, the boys have been, of course, doing it throughout the week. Let's take a look at who you've chosen. De Gea in goal, Marcelo, Ramos, Godin, Kimmich, De Bruyne, Kante, Modric, Neymar, Ronaldo, and Messi. There is a problem.
It's a big problem.
With your 11, because according to our programme, you couldn't have those three up front, because those three are the attacking players. You need a striker. You're going to have to take out one of Neymar, Ronaldo, or Messi.
Well, I think Ronaldo now is a centre forward, but apparently he's not, according to this. He's not allowed. So I'm going to take him out the team, because I don't think he's anywhere near as effective out on the left wing as Neymar would be. And I'm going to put in Luis Suarez. I think he'll have a good World Cup.
We have Suarez.
We'll have Suarez. And he didn't have a good season this year, but I think he might.
He did have a good season. That's a good start.
I think he might come to the fore in this World Cup.
So Shakrad Lewandowski, why would you have Suarez over
I've seen Lewandowski play for Poland. He's not been anywhere near as effective as he is for Bayern Munich. Yeah. So there's one reason.
Griezmann?
Griezmann, I wouldn't put him as an out-and-out centre-forward. I think he's somebody that likes to come short rather than running behind. So I wouldn't have him, if you were saying, is there a centre-forward? I wouldn't have him as a centre-forward. Suarez is a centre-forward. The next one would be Cavani. He's a centre-forward as well.
I was going to go Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, yeah, is another centre-forward. But I would go with Suarez as the main.
Should we name every centre-forward?
That's what we're talking about.
You could just say he's a centre-forward.
Somebody said Griezmann. I wouldn't have him as a centre-forward.
Well, he was in the list as a centre-forward.
Ronaldo should be in the list as a centre-forward. He's a centre-forward these days.
We've talked a lot about Neymar leading up to this World Cup, the favourite to be the player of the tournament. It's interesting, in the past, you haven't been on the Neymar bandwagon.
No.
You kind of define him as a luxury player.
A little bit of a luxury.
Has your mind changed slightly?
A little bit when he plays for Brazil. I think he's been excellent. In the friendlies I've seen him play for Brazil, he's been top quality. He's scored goals. He's run with the ball. He's been a good team player. He's worked harder defensively under the new coach. But he's still, and we were talking about club football, he's still been a problem at PSG to a certain degree.
But there seems to be a different Neymar when he's with a club than
Absolutely.
With
When he's playing for his country, he looks a better professional. He looks as though he works harder off the ball. He looks as though he wants to get on with everybody. When he's playing for his club, he looks as though he wants to be the number one. And if the ball doesn't get to him, he's frustrated. I don't like his antics, diving and play acting and trying to get players sent off. So, and if I was, and what we were talking about last year, if I was a manager of one of the top sides, a Barcelona, Real Madrid, a PSG, a Manchester United, he wouldn't be the player I would bring in to make my side the great side that they wanted to be, because I wouldn't trust him.
I think you were the only one in the midfield of the boys that had Modric, actually. I think everyone else had Cruz.
Well, we were at the game together, the Champions League final. If there's one player that when people want to press him, that can just wriggle out of situations and change the pace of the game or play around pressure, switch the play, Luka Modric is that player. I think he's a magnificent footballer, and that's why I've got him in that midfield.
It's interesting you got Sergio Ramos there, and as you say, we're at the final together. We didn't quite see exactly what everyone else saw, because obviously you're in the stands, but what do you make of everything that's happened after, with regarding the coverage that Ramos has got?
I don't think Ramos meant to damage Salah. I think he's still an exceptional. He'll have his moments where he can get sent off. We know he can be rash, but I still think he's a top-class defender, and he's proved it time and time again with Spain, with Real Madrid.
And for a man who loves his defence and loves the organisation, Marcelo at left-back.
He'll go forward because Ramos will sit in behind, as we discussed in the Champions League final.
At length, I seem to remember, Robbo. Welcome to Extra Time. Robbo's arrived from England. Kate Winslet on your flight today, Robbo? Any celebrities?
No, but you are a celebrity in Barbados. I went there last week. Oh, everybody was talking about it. The chap called Karen, he said you were absolutely the best presenter he'd seen on TV.
Lovely. We've got a big fan base in the Caribbean.
Massive fan base.
Nice. Lovely. Were they nice to you? Did they
Very
mention
nice,
Arsene
yeah.
Wenger
Yeah.
at all?
They moaned about Ali Moreno. Well, a couple of Manchester United supporters did, because they said he was anti-Manchester United.
They're not wrong, are they?
No. All the stuff.
Everybody's
The
anti-Manchester
pundits are very well
United,
liked, I've got to say.
Oh, there we go. Good. This person must know you well. He's asked Stuart Robson, which team will use the wing-backs to attack the most at World Cup? I'd love Robbo to answer.
Oh, wing-backs.
This is your position, Robbo.
This is my position.
You've got to do it with the arms.
Well, we saw Belgium play with wing-backs today. I don't think they're the strongest players defensively, but they can get forward. Meunier down the right-hand side, Carrasco down the left. They could certainly get a lot of crosses into the box.
Give us a double. Yes.
Two of those. That's what they've been doing.
But
they've got to go the other way as well.
So Belgium.
Yeah.
Shaq Hislop is here as well.
Hey.
Question for you, Shaq. What's that? What was your game day meal before you played your first World Cup match?
Oh, goodness. I ate everything going. I didn't think I was playing.
Of course.
Coming into the game, Leo Bernacca told me I was third choice. So I had
Who were the other two then?
Calvin Jack, who'd been playing, who'd played very well in qualifiers, and Clayton Ince.
You were third choice.
I'm telling you what.
A reminder why you were then playing.
Calvin Jack pulled up with an injury.
Yep.
And I stared Leo Bernacca down as if dare him to not name him.
Were you eating a chicken wing at the time? What?
Probably had some bacon. Bacon with me? No, seriously, I had pancakes, bacon,
The whole
everything.
shebang?
The whole shebang. Go out onto the pitch in Dortmund to warm up. I'm kicking shots at Clayton. Everybody else is warming up and doing their thing, and Kelvin is off to the side with the goalkeeping coach, and I'm kicking shots from the top of the box.
Wow.
That was my pre-World Cup warm-up.
Did you play well?
Went all right.
Was that Sweden game?
Yeah.
That was where Xhaka was amazing. Zlatan writes about him in his book, saying he was unbelievable.
Did
You
mention my
could say
breakfast?
that about him in every game, really. Couldn't you?
Well,
Not so much maybe at Reading, Newcastle, West Ham.
that's brilliant,
Yeah.
Shaq.
Good breakfast.
So then how did it... So then let's take it to the second match.
Yeah.
Was your preparation different then?
Yeah, it was.
Obviously you knew it was starting. So.
Yeah.
Not nervous.
Yeah, I got...
Did you get nervous? I can't imagine you nervous about anything. Shaq.
No, I got very nervous.
So how did you handle your nerves?
Chew gum.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, that worked.
That's about as good as it could get. And then once the whistle goes, I'm fine.
Right.
Once things start, I'm fine. But just that whole build up, I was terrible.
Where are you, Robbo? I can't imagine you nervous. Very much in control.
Apprehensive rather than nervous. You always think, how's the game going to go? Who am I playing up against? Is he quicker than me? Is he... Whatever it may be. Until the game starts, you're never quite sure how it's going to go. There's all sorts of things.
I can't ask him that. I've got to ask you about your shower.
What about the shower?
I don't know. Is there a story about your shower?
Oh,
No, I know what the story is.
a bit of mildew at the bottom. You can't have that. You have to get the cleaner on that every day. And when I say
Very
the cleaner,
precise.
I mean the spray, not a cleaner.
Go on. Sort the mildew out. Oh, that threw me then. I thought it was some sort of pre-ritual.
Who would know about my shower anyway? Don't worry about it.
I have no idea what's going on, and I'm comfortable with that.
Let's move on to Gab, shall we? Good evening, Gab.
Good evening.
What time is it there? What time are you now? Like 2 in the morning?
It's just about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Are you finished after
I'm
this? Is
hearing
that it?
stories about Stuart and his cleaner and his shower. And
Obviously not interested in that.
To be honest, add that to your show about a certain, your story about the tattoo. The show went entirely in the wrong
Oh
direction.
yes, Gab was talking about... Right, anyway. No disrespect for Perez, but why was Icardi not called as a replacement for Lanzini for Argentina's World Cup squad? Cannot understand. What does he have to do to be in the squad, Gab?
I'm wondering the same thing myself. I'm really out on a limb here. I mean, in terms of what a good Icardi can bring to the squad, I personally think he's if he's not better than, he's pretty darn close to what Higuain can bring, or really the Aguero that we've seen of late can bring. But that said, it's pretty simple. Lanzini plays a different position, and I guess he feels that Perez is a suitable substitute. I mean, what Argentina don't need right now is one more center forward, and I think it's as simple as that. He needs some level of balance in the team.
Last time this came up, when Argentina named their squad, Dirk reminded us that Icardi mightn't be welcome in that dressing room.
Why? Well, I don't know why you'd bring that up, Shaq.
I'm just saying that these things factor.
Oh, because of relations that maybe he
Oh, okay, I'm with you.
These things matter. I'm just saying. Never had that happen in one of my squads or teams. But I'm just saying.
Move on from Shaq's gossip column. Which Asian team do you think will go the furthest, Gab, in this summer's World Cup?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think this is a great crop of Asian sides. I think Iran possibly the best of the lot, but of course they have a very tricky group. I think perhaps Australia and Japan a little more manageable. I think it's certainly a down period for Korea. So maybe I'm going to lean towards. I didn't mention Saudi Arabia. I do not think Saudi Arabia are getting out of their group. So I'm going to go on a limb and say Japan or Australia, but I don't know. I think it's going to be tough for any Asian team really to get out of these groups.
Notice Gab making predictions and me not shouting it.
Good. It's a marked improvement from yesterday.
I felt bad yesterday, Gab. Sorry about that. Oh, now they've cut off his mic. That's it. That was not my choice.
We
I promise.
We shall not know. Always shout at somebody.
You're getting a reputation for being a bit of a bully.
No, I
Shout
didn't
at
mean
Gab yesterday. Shout at the sound man today.
to. Shout it.
Or the sound person.
He was shouting at his wife about doing the lawn mowing earlier on. She's
Send me a message.
He told her how to
So
cut the
you
lawn.
shouted your wife to do the lawn mowing?
She was, I don't know how, so she sent me a message going, I'm going to cut the lawn. How do I stop the lawnmower?
Which you answered, just take your hand off the handle.
Just take your hand off the thing, but I assumed she was preempting not being able to stop it. I was worried that it was going to run amok around the neighbourhood.
Oh, dear, dear.
Which Asian team do you think would go furthest?
Japan obviously won their group, but they're not the Japan side that we've seen in previous World Cups, but they were quite good. I would say the team that had the chance, the one that Gab went against, Saudi Arabia, are in the weakest. If they can beat Russia in the opening game, they have a chance. But on my prediction, not one of the Asian teams will get through the group stage.
Oh, neither my predictor. But I'm going to go for Korea. Germany are going to dominate that group. You know I don't rate Sweden. I think they kind of limped into this tournament. And we're not quite sure what Mexico we're going to get after Partygate.
Again, bringing
Gossip.
up
I'm
your
just
gossip.
saying.
Bringing up
I'm
your
just
gossip.
saying. You don't know what Mexico you're going to get.
Should we say goodnight to Gab now?
Yeah,
I think we should say it nicely.
No, I will say it nice.
Don't shout.
I'm not going to shout. Are you going to bed now? Apparently you're going to be somewhere different tomorrow, a bit more scenic, Gab.
Oh no, I can't do it from the comfort of my own home.
No, you can't. Can we see your home? What happens if the camera turns right? Can they turn the camera right? What's through that window? Oh, apparently we're not allowed to do it.
If you turn it around, yeah, you'd be looking into Ralph Honigstein's room, but he's not here yet, so
Oh, there we go.
it's going to be a real sty tomorrow when he
I
gets
can
in.
imagine Gab's room scruffy. I bet he doesn't tidy up after him, Gab, does he?
Well, Gab,
Yeah, scruffy room.
I would have not a bad word said about it. I bet there's mildew in the shower, though.
Without doubt, he wouldn't clean it up either.
Right, that's it. That's
Okay.
it. Enough of this nonsense. ESPN FC returns.